Hello and welcome to another Legends of Runeterra podcast. I'm Conansson and I'm once again joined by Wick.
Hello.
And today we have probably one of the top 5 or 10 players I've ever played against, Smooth Swoleoist. And yeah, he's a streamer, he's quite a good player, also in TKG and just a correct member of the community. Welcome.
Greetings.
Do you want to introduce yourself quickly?
Well, I mean, you said everything. I'm like pretty good at this game, I guess.
Absolutely.
I'm like, chilling at the top of the leaderboard, playing some tournaments occasionally. Seasonal top cut sometimes. The usual, I guess.
What's your current ranking? What's your current LP?
Right now, I lost a lot. Like, right now, I'm like barely top 100, honestly. It's kind of low.
Oh, no.
Okay. What was your peak this season?
But it's okay. Peak of like, I think like 15 or something.
Okay.
Like wank.
That's pretty crazy. So definitely one of the best players we have, and I can
Absolutely.
definitely really good. And you also play a lot, I saw. And today we want to do a little bit of a wish list for the upcoming balance patch. It's going to be next week, and we just want to discuss the meta a little bit first and hear a few opinions, and then we all will discuss the two cards that are like the most problematic, or the two archetypes, which will be Kaiser and Bard, in our opinions, and then each one of us will propose 3 nerfs and 3 buffs to other archetypes or other cards. I'm quite excited to see what you guys came up for. We didn't discuss before, we're just going to be surprised by each of our ideas. But first, let's talk about the meta a little bit. I've only played Kaiser so far. I'm almost at Mastery 5, and to be honest, I don't like Kaiser that much and how she stands right now. She's just too polarizing, and it's not even fun to play her. Like, you either kill her on turn 5 or turn 6 and you play her, or you just win. It's kind of boring. Feels like a Serial back in the day where you just like won, or the opponent had countered you or something. And yeah, that didn't have too much fun in the meta so far. What about you?
Smooth?
Honestly, I'm kind of fine with the meta. I don't think it's that bad. Like, okay, Kaiser feels a bit bad sometimes. Bard also feels a bit, it's kind of just a bit feels bad, right? But for the rest of the meta, it's kind of fine, right? Like, there's obviously always the arguments like the top decks are way too good, and there's no way you like make a new deck. But then the people just pulled up with a monkey deck like a few days ago. Like this gotta prove that the meta isn't even that bad. Like, is this a deck that like no one would see it and be like, man, this is a good deck. It's like, yeah, and it's just suddenly good, man.
Right.
Like, how bad can the meta be then, honestly?
That's super true. Yeah, when the monkey deck popped up, I was pretty excited. I think another deck that has been causing waves is the Gwen Thresh deck that people have been calling Gwesh. I think that outside of the top 2 decks, like you were saying, the meta is pretty funny. I think there's so much more room for experimentation than like people have been giving credit to the meta. I haven't been able to play as much as I wanted to, but I kind of try to keep a track of how things are going based on Discord and Twitter. I don't know. People are complaining about weird stuff. I'll be honest.
I kind of agree. Maybe it's like that the top decks feel bad to lose against. Like, if you lose to Kaiser, just like your whole board dies and then you just get attacked again. If you lose to Bard, they just have like 5 chimes on turn 4 and then you lose. That's what makes people frustrated. But from the stats also, I think that you have like 55% for Kaiser or something, 54 and 52 for Bard. That's like not even that bad from what I last looked.
Yeah, I think I see them both at 54% on LOR.GG. So, I mean, since we're going to be talking about those 2 champions specifically, how do you guys feel about the meta outside of those 2? Because obviously they warped the meta fairly severely, but like when we zoom out and we look at other formats outside of ladder, such as best of 3s, do you guys think that the meta is how do you guys feel about the best of 3 meta compared to the ladder meta? Because I feel like the ladder meta is just like people are gonna play whatever they feel like, and then there's either jank or OP stuff. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
I didn't play that many tournaments recently, to be honest. But like, I mean, even from the ladder menu, like aside from these two decks, there's like a lot of variety, isn't there? Like if you just scroll down, let's say I'm just looking at Runeterra AR right now, and if you scroll down, there's like an Ayingott deck, then we got Swals, then we get Azirelia, and then we go back to Bard, but like the decks feel very different, you know. Then we got like an SI control deck. We got like Heimat Jace, it's also like a word mid-range deck. Like the decks are very different from the style here, right?
I agree.
So like it's gotta be somewhat varied aside from like the top two decks, I guess.
Yeah, and I just literally opened like the Masters leaderboard and looked at the recent decks that people play, and they like the top 8 players have 8 different decks. So
Oh wow.
it isn't even that like half of them are like TF decks or something, TF Nami and TF whatever, Pandemonium and stuff. But definitely you also have Chin Annie on the top of the ladder somehow, 626 LP. So definitely there are some viable decks. I think definitely like in a combo meta where you have to do stuff efficiently. Otherwise, or you have to have a lot of answers doesn't really work in this meta. You have to have some kind of power turn and win very efficiently. I've seen a lot of people complain about this, that the new champions are so pushed, but I don't think it's really, I think many people are like over exaggerating with all this Runeterra is dying and stuff, and Kaiser's destroying the game and stuff. It's really annoying.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I feel like new champions have been released very strong for quite a while now. You know, like Nara was a 4-3, Poppy was a 4-3. Like, things were crazy on release. And I think they do that to kind of build on to the new expansion and new card hype a little bit more. And then, you know, tune it into, you know, dial it back a little bit as they need. But I don't mind new cards being released really strong. I feel like the devs are pretty active in responding to things that are out of line. I mean, like when Ken and Ezreal released, right? That only lasted like not even that long. And so I have to assume that the data that the devs are seeing, because the data even that we're seeing suggests that the top performing decks are manageable. So I have to imagine that the data that the devs are looking at, I mean, it's obviously not even stirred that much concern for them, because they've stepped in the past. So I assume that like if as soon as they want to step in, they will again. I trust them to do that, in my opinion.
Smooth, what do you think about all the people saying the game's dying and meta is destroying Runeterra?
I mean, obviously it's not dying, right? Like it doesn't happen that easy, right? Like come on.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, you know, there's a lot of people taking breaks, right? Like right now, the meta is kind of, they're not really feeling the meta. I mean, that's fine, right? Like people can take breaks.
People should.
You know, I could see it, right? Like if the content creator takes a break, it always feels like a bit bad. But I mean, it happens, right?
Yeah. And if you don't like any special card, you can just take a break. Like it's fine. The game isn't dying because you don't play it. You have to learn that. And I kind of feel like the new champions being good is kind of a good thing, because if you look at Evelyn, for example, people are like, why is Evelyn so bad? Didn't they even playtest her? I want to play Evelyn, but she's literally unplayable, something like that. So people always complain, and they would rather complain about them. The new champions being too good, because it creates some hype. Like, oh my god, Kaiser is so broken, I want to try it out. Let's revisit Runeterra. It would just be like, I don't know, Ophelio's been broken for 1 year straight, then nobody would come back for that. But Kaiser being broken just generates hype. Yeah, but let's see. They've been quite good.
Some stuff like you mentioned, they point Poppy as like a 2-3, you know, like she would be not hyped at all. Like she would be like, yeah man, it's a 2-3, man, she looks so bad.
Right. Nobody would have played her.
So they had to release her like stronger, right? So it's kind of okay. As long as they tone it down eventually, you know.
Yeah, and they've been pretty good at toning it down. Like we see with Poppy, we see with Na, they always tone down these later on, and it's definitely a fine approach. But let's maybe move on to how we would address these different champions here. Now we selected Kaiser and Bard for the 2 changes, because they're like in the strongest decks, and also like newer champions that we assume will also be toned back down. And we each have, I assume, different approaches. Like I said, we didn't talk before, so we just present our approaches to the different decks and then we will discuss afterwards. I guess I'm just going to start with my approach to how we would handle Kaiser, and let's check my notes. I think the first change I would make is to Hourglass. It's way too efficient in too many deck lists, and I would just make it straight up 3 mana in Hourglass. Like, it's still fine, but it can't just be played on 2, and it's way too efficient at 2, just countering any removal spell. But also deal with annoying decks like Shurima, Viego, and Papercraft, so just an overall change. And similarly, I would also make Pride of Negation cost more. Also, it's just so efficient against some strategies like Disintegrate, for example. I would also make it cost 5 in my 2 changes, not specifically to Kaiser. For Kaiser specifically, I would make Evolve to 7, like not to 8, so people suggest 8, but that's just a little bit of an overkill, I think. But you shouldn't be able to flip your guy as a 4/4, Evolve guy, 4 mana 6/6 on turn 4. That shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's a little bit slower, but not 8. Just make Evolve 7. And my last change would just be my last change would be to make Kaiser as a 3 health baseline and then 5 health, because it's just a 6/6. It's super hard to kill already. It's a little bit too much. This would be my 4 changes to the archetype. I don't like tackling all the other Evolve guys, for example, or I don't know, removing Kaiser's abilities or stuff like that. I think just a little bit of number changes are more than enough. Yeah.
I feel that.
Okay, Vic, do you want to continue? What would be your approach?
Yeah, so I don't have that many changes for Kaiser. I focus mostly on Kaiser herself as the individual card, and I've been talking with a few people, and I think a lot of people have been talking to me about just putting Kaiser to 6 mana. I think that just puts a lot more pressure off of the opponent to respond to such a devastating card to leave up with only 8 mana maximum. I think even 9 mana is just going to allow a little bit more counterplay into Kaiser. So I think that just making her cost 1 more to 6 mana would be, I think, pretty substantial. And then the other thing that I really want to see change is her second skin, not applying to all Kaisers. I think that is just so egregious. It's crazy. When you compare it to like Victor's upgrade, it's just not. I don't know. It's so disgusting how like even if you remove the Kaiser, you can still grant future Kaisers spell shield or whatever you need, and it just makes the deck so much more difficult to overcome. And you're just able to throw threat after threat with multiple Kaisers coming down with all the keywords that you've ever invested into it. So I think toning down second skin and then upping her mana cost will bring Kaiser in line a little bit. Smooth?
Yeah.
Alright. I mean, it's closer to my ideas, I guess. I mean, 6 mana Kaiser, I think that's a good idea. Like 5 mana is maybe a bit too low. But in general, I like Kaiser, right? Like Evolve and Kaiser, they're kind of a nice finisher for like a words pile of keyword kind of deck, right? Like you build it up for itself, you have like some hatchling lurk guy and Silverwing diver. It's a bit of a funny deck. And then you get the payoff, like with the Kaiser, with the Evolve units. They might be a bit too strong, right? But in general, I kind of like the idea of it. So I don't really want to change that much. So, I mean, Evolve to 7 is like, it could work. But it's probably better to just make Kaiser 1 mana. Maybe Shurima removal could be, not removal, protection could be a bit more expensive or like a bit weaker, right? Like Boss White and Hourglass are a bit very strong. Also in like Viego and stuff, right? So it could be like 3 mana, 5 mana or something. But Kaiser specifically, I like 6 mana, then probably like Void Abomination 9 mana maybe. Because it's like kind of fucking huge, right? Like maybe it would be fair because like basically in Arsenal, but it's not random, right? So it could be 9 mana. And then we got like, okay, we also got the 4/4, right? The 4/4 is maybe a bit too strong, right?
The
like we got the 4 mana 6/6 overwhelm. It's kind of crazy,
it's kind of
honestly.
manga.
And maybe it should be like a 4-3. No, I think it's okay. We just make him 4-3. He's not like super weak then, right? But it's probably more balanced. Because right now it's like you kind of get overwhelmed with these big units and you can't really remove them. Because obviously you have to spend removal on like Kaiser, right? And it's not like you can afford to remove him. It's like, how do you remove him? Like Vengeance or something? And you can't do that because of Kaiser. Or it's kind of hard to deal with this guy.
I
Fully agree. And the bad thing also I've always felt when I like did the release reaction to Kaiser and stuff like that, I was thinking Evolve would hit like on turn 6, for example, after you play your Kaiser for a turn, or after you set up a little bit more, but it hits sometimes on turn 4 even the right Voidlings, and that's just broken, and you shouldn't have a 6/6 on turn 4.
Yeah.
It would be like turn 6, turn 7, that would be fine. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think about Void Abomination, by the way? Because I've heard people say it's a better Arsenal, but I think this is like a more fair version of Arsenal, because you don't just get random keywords and you're like, oh my god, Pantheon hit the Scout elusive again, I'm so sad. You also you just get like controlled keywords. You actually have to build your deck around it, you have to draw the right cards. Kind of like the approach to Void Abomination more than just random keywords.
I mean, yeah, okay, better Arsenal was maybe a wrong wording, right? But it is kind of better, right? Because you always get Scout elusive, and that's like the most important keywords, right?
Yeah.
Well, elusive you don't always get, I guess, because like Silvering Diver is like kind of getting cards. He's like only sometimes there, so we have to highball it on like Voidling. So I mean, he doesn't always have the best keywords, but he always has Scout, and this is like kind of scary, right?
Yeah, I think we just had Scout removed from the random keyword pool, and now we're still getting dunked on by Scout being inherited into these finishers. And I've even seen a lot of people talk about removing Scout from the shareable pile, and I don't even know how that's possible. But in regards to Void A-Bomb, I think it's fine. I don't know. I like that card a lot. I think it's it's 8 mana. It's super expensive, and I think if your card costs 8 mana, it should help you finish the game. But I guess when you compare it to other things, there are a lot of 8 mana cards that don't win on their own, like Leviathan, maybe like all the boats, I guess. I don't know. I feel like Void Abomination is what all finishers should feel like, because like when that thing slams down, it feels like Farron. Like you're like, oh, Farron comes down, and you're like, all right, I guess I lose in 2 turns or even 1. But I think it's okay. I think if we tone down all of the Evolve package, because like you were saying, Evolve procs so much faster than any of us were anticipating. Like, I don't think any of us would have predicted a turn 4 Evolve flip. Like that was not in my head at all when we were talking about these predictions. So I think if we just slow down the Evolve deck overall, I think it's going to be good. But then I worry that the mid-range Sivir version that plays a lot more interaction is going to start becoming a problem.
But this one is like way more fair, and like I think the all-in Kaiser is like the more annoying deck to face for sure. It's just like unfun for both sides. You either hit with Kaiser and attack twice and win, or you don't and you lose.
So is it like Fiora then? Right? Like Mono Fiora, people say it's like the same thing. You draw Fiora, you draw Entreat, or you lose. Right? Is that like really how severe? Because I feel like the Kaiser deck has like other followers that can kill you. Like we were just talking about the Void Blaster. I think it's a crazy card. So.
But like Mono Fiora was never a good deck, right?
Whatever. I won tournament matches with it.
I mean, it was okay. It was like super polarizing, so I guess it's understandable why people would hate it, but like it wasn't really that good. It was kind of a bad deck, but like it was just unbeatable some decks, so it was, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah.
But like, back to Kaiser, actually maybe we can't nerf Evolve, because like, as you said, Kaiser Sivir feels like the more fair version, right? But like if we make Evolve to like 7 or even 8, right? Like you would literally never play anything else in mono, because you can't afford to play 100 cards, right? Like you can't afford to play Sivir because unique keywords.
Yeah. Or even like Akshan,
it's like-
Flicker Tech, be so bad.
Yeah, I mean, Action is kind of, the version is kind of bad.
That one's the worst one, no. Yeah. Auction is only at like a 47% win rate right now.
Yeah.
Sad.
I had even lower win rate. I played like cards like the Current Vagabond, the 3/3 and stuff like that.
Oh,
Very bad
gosh. Very, very bad. Oof.
deck. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, what do you guys expect them to do? So like these are our wish list changes. So I mean, do you guys see them hitting more than just Kaisa? If they even hit Kaisa? Like, do you think it'll be enough, or do you think that Riot's gonna go soft on it and that we're gonna have to deal with like Kaisa at seasonals again?
I mean, Riot does have a history of going soft on the new deck, right? Like, they never really nerf the new deck in the next patch, to be honest. Like, either they hotfix it or they just don't nerf it the next patch.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could see Kaiser surviving. But maybe Shurima protection is like overdue for a nerf, right?
Mhm.
Like,
I think that I have comments on that later.
I also think that they don't just straight up kill Kaiser or something like that. But like say cards like Rite of Negation or Hourglass are in the game for like how many seasons now? It seems more likely that they target those and make those weaker. And then eventually they nerf Kaiser and then everybody will be like, oh my god, Shurima is so unplayable, why are all the cards so bad? It feels more like Riot to me. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, maybe.
But I think like going to 6 mana or to a 4/3 could be reasonable. But I'm not like going to like invest any money on it or something like that. Or going to bet on it. Okay, interesting. So we move on to Bard. You want to say
Yeah.
and Kaiser? Nice.
Oh, we can move on.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
done with Kaisa.
To be honest, I hate Bard way more than Kaiser. Like he's longer in the game now, and I was the fan in our release podcast who was like, Bard will be the strongest one of all of them,
Yeah.
and I was right. Maybe Ani was stronger, but
Nah.
yeah.
I think, when we saw Bard, the first thing I said was like, what a boring champion design, I'll be honest. And I still feel that way. Chimes are so boring and even more frustrating than anybody expected.
I mean, honestly, he's kind of funny, to be honest. Like, you do all these funny chimes, you get your hand buffed, it kind of feels funny to play, I mean, against him is kind of questionable, but like, it kind of feels good sometimes.
It's like hitting a lurk on one, right? Feels
find
good.
that
Yeah,
animation
lurk is-
annoying. I play like in night and it flashbangs me every time I draw a card. It's like kind of annoying.
So,
Yeah.
Who
How
wants
do
to go
we change
first?
it?
Who wants to go
I think
first
I
on
went
Bard?
first last time. Smooth, do you want to go
Smooth.
first?
Alright. But Bard is a bit, he's a hard one to fix, actually. Because, like, you can't just reduce the chimes or anything. Like, it's not like he's really overpowered, right? Like, I don't really think he's that overpowered, right? Like, his win rate isn't, like, broken. He just kind of feels bad, right?
I mean, his win rate's
So-
not broken.
So he got, like, maybe there's, like, a world where you make his chimes not be in, like, the first cards or something. But, like, the problem is turn 1 chime. Like, people obviously complain about the turn 1 chimes. They're like, oh shit, man, here turn 1, it's insta loss, right? Like, but turn 1 chime literally doesn't even matter because 1 drops, they still die to another 1 drop, right? And 1 mana 3/3s are never really been a problem, right?
Right.
It only really matters on, like, maybe a 2 mana unit, like, it kind of matters, but like more matters on, like, mid-range, so, like, middle game units, right?
Mhm.
So we got, like,
Your turn 4s.
if you make it less on turn 1, right, then does it even help anything? Then you just control it more because you play your 1 drops,
Yep.
so you draw more like
You get it
after
onto
turn
your
4.
more
Then you
important
have like,
hits.
then your Ilaoi is like super big instead
Exactly.
of like, so it's really hard to fix him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's no real way to actually fix him right now. Like, maybe you make him scale with late game somehow, so you have like the more time passes, but I mean, then
that
it's just
feels-
a word card.
Yeah.
Like, why would he be a grind mid-range card? But this kind of doesn't really make sense,
Cringe.
right? Like, he would only make sense as Maokai anymore. The deck is funny, but like, it's a really weird concept, right? So, making him scale with late game is also kind of weird. Because early game doesn't matter that much after all. Like, It's really a problem to fix them, to be honest.
So don't really have any direct approach.
If not really, to be honest.
Okay. Conansson,
No,
do you have something?
want
I have
to,
something spicy.
I just want to say that this shows that you are like a really good player, because the bad players are just like, it's easy to fix him, and just like have these 5 different ideas. But you really recognize that there is no easy fix, and this is not just like slap some random number on him and call it a fix. That's like balance is like difficult, and it's not just like snap a finger. And we just wanted to showcase that I really respect you for not having like an easy fix here. I find it really, really cool. But yeah, Vic, do you want to go on?
Yeah, I think my change is going to be way too spicy, way too severe, and will probably remove him from the game. But I think that based on historical data, it feels like something that could happen. I think I've seen a lot of changes for Bard being suggested lately, and one of them was putting the chimes to round end, and like Smooth was just saying, those early units and those early chimes hitting like a 1-drop or a 2-drop, you kind of annoyed by it. Like, you'd rather have them hit your big units anyways. And so I feel like putting it to round end is like a placebo effect. Like, people stop complaining about getting chimed on 1, but the strength of the package is still intact. I saw some suggestions where people were saying that in order to have chimes shuffled, you need to behold a bard, and that bard's attack would be compensated by having more chimes. And I thought that was kind of cool, but also like a little too severe. Like, if you're not generating any chimes because you don't have a bard in hand, I think that's a really, really slows him down and weakens him. My change is the change that they did for a lot of cards, like the Temple and the what is the Demacian card? The landmark that gives challenger.
Grand Plaza.
Yeah, Grand Plaza. So this is the nerf that I want, is for chimes not to grant HP. So it's like, and then for all of the Bard packages cards to be compensated by having either their health buffed and have Bard's level up requirement like halved. But I think like the health on all of these units is really what's problematic, and it increases the survivability of just way too many cards that puts them outside of range of normal interaction. And I think that is where a lot of problems come from. I think the attack is fine. Like, you need Bard to be able to kill stuff. So I would rather just remove survivability from the Bard package.
Well, it is spicy indeed.
I read it before, yes. Maybe let me present my counterpoint first, and you can discuss which one is better.
Yes.
Because I don't really like this approach at all. But we can discuss it later. Okay, so my approach would be also historically based, because there is a card that probably nobody remembers. It's called Inspiring Mentor. Which says play grant an ally in hand +1/+0. And it used to be a 1/2, or I think it was a 1/2, and it said +1/+1. And it kind of reminds me of Bird, just giving one something +1/+1. And then they first changed it to a 1/1, and then they changed it back to a 2/1 and +1/+0. And I basically want to make all of the Bard units really bad, because you already have so little aggro, and just Bird giving someone +1/+1 and then trading for your Legion Rearguard just feels super bad.
Okay.
And my changes would be, I will make Bird a 1/1, and then Esmus a 0/1, and then Bard might be too much, but I would just make Bard a 1/4, because eventually you get big anyways with chimes. If you get to the late game, it doesn't really matter, but just the early game should be more exploitable. And I would also make him level up a little bit later, because just like slotbot stuff, and they changed him to also work with stuff that was probably not intended before, would make his level up to like 25 or 30, not sure about that. Would it make this go up a little bit, because I don't think Bard should be leveled on turn 4 oftentimes. And yeah, I just would make this a little more exploitable, so that don't just like lose to Bird on 1 in an aggro deck. So Smooth, which one do you like more?
I mean, I don't like either, to be honest. Like Wick, I mean, if you just make it attack, it's just gonna be unplayable, to be honest.
Exactly.
Because like you got like you play Bard, right? You get an entire region and you only get attack from it. Like, what are you gonna do with that attack?
That's true.
Like you hit 400 attack on the Bard, but then you attack and he gets blocked by the 1/1, and it's like it literally doesn't matter, right? It's like attack is just not that good, right?
Yeah.
We could make it only health, but then it's kind of weird, right? Like, I mean, you would be more grindy then. You would be like kind of weird, but no. It would be better than only attack, I think. That's also not that good.
I don't think it's an elegant solution.
I mean, nah. Okay, well, Conansson, I mean, I'm not sure about that one. It's like, okay, Bird is obviously overpowered, right? Like, the 2-1 giving 1/1s. As you said, like, just like Menta, he's kind of overpowered. 1/1 feels bad, but like, maybe he should just be more expensive, like a bigger unit with like the same effect, but like maybe 3 mana unit or something.
Oh, wow.
Just so he's not a 1-drop. But 1/1 is just, it's kind of terrible. But maybe it's like fair, right? Like maybe it should be terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, like, later on, he will not be a 1/1, he will just be still a 2/2 or 3/3 with some chimes. Usual deck, but just stops in turn 1. It still trades for Legion Saboteur, but your Legion Rearguard gets late again and can hit you if you're playing a bird deck.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, maybe we should do that to more cards. Like, we could do that to a lot of like value engine cheap units right now.
Well, wait
to make
for
them
my
not
nerfs.
trade into other units anymore, right?
Wait for my nerfs.
But like Esmus and Bard, like they're already understated, right? Like I don't think you have to reduce their stats right now. Like, okay, Bird is like normal stated, right? But like
Right.
Esmus 2-1, like he's already 0-2, right? How bad can he be? And Bard is like, he's kind of understated already, right? Like 2-5, it's like really doesn't feel good.
But like, it's just hard to kill
Obviously
sometimes.
with one chime, right? But like 1-4, you would just be like, you would look so sad.
Literally Maokai crying in the corner. But
I mean, okay, but Maokai doesn't want to attack, right? Like Bard literally has an attack effect. And then you can't just take his stats away, because then he's literally, it would be even more just the cards that you put in your deck to get the chimes, right? And then you can't even attack with him because he dies to like a 3-drop. And it's like, yeah, you just literally never use him then. You just hold him and yeah, he cries, I guess.
he would just be more a late game card. I think we have him in the hand a little bit longer and he grows up with the chimes. And
Yeah, but you don't want to grow him because he doesn't have keywords, right? So you're forced to grow him because his stats are super bad. But you don't want to grow him because, like, what is he gonna do, right? Then he's a 3-6, but he still doesn't do anything because it's like turn 20 and he's like attacking. So.
Right.
So, like, nah, I don't like reducing his stats.
Okay. But at least you can agree that Bird should be a little bit changed. I like the 3-drop attempt as well, but like at that point, at one chime, the 3-drop, this is even playable then.
So
I mean, if he lasts like a 3-3 or 3... Okay, 3-4 would be too good, but like a 3-3 is like kind of okay, to be honest.
yeah, I think I agree. I think right now Bird is like one of the strongest chime providers, and having him on 1 is just a little too strong with those stats. So I think I agree with Smooth, just like upping his mana, compensating his stats, and just
Like maybe...
that's one way to put a chime later on.
Yeah, like maybe he doesn't need to be 1 chime. Like he could be 2 chimes in like the top 3 cards or something, right? Like for like 3 mana. But like for 1 mana, it's just get too good, right?
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
you feel the difference a lot for these decks. Like while alive, if they watch play idle turn 1, you just get to attack them for free if you play a bird. It's just sad. I'm just a sad bird player. That's hard. Don't tell Vic.
So I was going to comment on Bard. Is Bard strong, or is Bard just so generic that he can kind of be played in so many different decks? I mean, because I feel like the different Bard decks do feel and play differently. Like Bard Ari is different from Bard Shen and Bard Poppy and Bard Alawi. Like all of these decks feel like unique decks, even though they rely on Bard to kind of cheese out certain stats. But do you guys think that because Bard is so flexible that it's not really an issue for the game?
I think in the long term it's a little bit of a design problem. I kind of like it now because mono region is like, it's just called Bard decks, mono region decks, kind of viable right now. We saw it with Bard Ilaoi. If you give a region too many tools, like the Sermon card right now, it was kind of necessary. If you give them too many tools, they're just like, okay, I abandon my second region. Similar to Ari, like they just abandon Cannon and the Bandit City package because just having a bit of stats is better. And Bandit City recoil stuff we will never see play. And it's just like a problem if you have one half of the support cards too weak, and in the future you just play like, okay, I'm just playing Bard and this other champion, this other archetype will never see play again.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense. I mean, the decks are pretty much mono because it's like Bard. Obviously they're gonna feel different, right? I mean, okay, Bard, Ari and Chen are like kind of similar, but they do feel a lot different because they're like different speeds, I guess.
And that's
but
why.
Yeah, Bard doesn't really change the deck, man. It's like Bard is just provide some extra stats to this deck.
Yeah, and that's why I'm wondering, is that okay? Because like to me, I think that's such a boring and just mundane and just like lame card style. But like I don't like big stat style anyways, you know what I mean? So
I mean,
I don't know.
It is kind of boring
Maybe
because he
too
doesn't
harsh.
really do that much. Like he doesn't just give stats sometimes. But like I mean, it's kind of fine maybe. It just makes an existing deck basically stronger. It's
Okay.
Like it is kind of boring, right? Like he's just basically a buff for your deck, right? Like you got whatever elusive deck, and now it's a bit better because you have buttons.
But I guess all
You
champions
know.
don't need to be like hyper complex, interesting things, right? We need the balance of both.
I mean, yeah, that's also like fair.
That's true. Okay.
And like I said, I like Allegiance decks, and I think Allegiance
too.
just adds to the game if you just play one region, and the normal Allegiance decks still play like 2 to 5 cards, even the non-Allegiance, because you just can't afford it if your Allegiance triggers. But Bard really forces you to go full Allegiance. You can't play Solver, you can't play Go Hard. You have to go all in on Bard, you even lose 3 of your champion slots. I think this is like a fine-ish trade-off. I'm just afraid in the future if they like randomly release like 5 more lurk cards or something in Bilgewater, then you just play Pike Bard at some point and just call it a deck because it's usually better to have Bard in your deck than Rexa or something. We have to see.
I mean,
though.
Bard
could see
Rexa
that
is
happen.
dog shit.
But I could see it happen, you know, eventually if you get enough learn cards.
Yeah.
Like obviously Pike and Vex are, you know, they're kind of strong champions. So it would need a lot of strength to actually replace them.
Yeah, it was just an example. I don't know exactly. If you like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
5 more
I
table
get
cards
it.
or something. I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
interesting discussion for sure. Now let's
I think
move on
Bard is
to our
hard. Yeah.
let's move on to our nerfs. And first question would be: do you have any particular strategy with your nerfs, or are you just like nerfing cards because you don't like them? For me, the strategy is I want to bring aggro back. I want to give more
Hey,
decks.
let's go.
Strategy. I don't really have a strategy. I just want to nerf cards that are like overloaded and just too good, right? Like I don't see what kind of strategy I'm supposed to have, like, to be honest.
That's fine. Vic, do you have a strategy or just cards you want to nerf?
My strategy was to buff control indirectly and then buff aggro directly.
Ah, similar. So let's see how we approach this.
Yeah.
I think Smooth started last time with Bard, right? Or did you start?
Yeah, Smooth started last time. So I
Okay,
guess
Vic,
I'll
so
start.
what's your first nerf?
So my first nerf is Ravine, and I know I said that I wanted to buff control, but I fucking hate that card, and I think that it's just
I mean-
so. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
fair. Ravine is like super strong.
Yeah.
It's super strong, and like I know that Freljord needs all the help it can get, but I feel like it's just dominated all of the Freljord decks, and I don't know, like because it's so strong, Freljord and their other cards are weak, I guess, or something. But like that card just feels so bad to play against. I hate that card so much as an aggro player. Like it just, I don't know. It just blows you out singularly.
It's very fair. We have to like redistribute the power and failure a bit, I guess.
I agree.
Which is kind of hard because there's a lot of kind of bad cards there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we gotta somehow do that, I guess.
Yeah. So that's my first nerf.
How will you change it though? Like,
Remove it. I somehow make it so that like maybe. I don't know. I really don't know.
I think there's a lot of things to do with it, but it's kind of, all of them feel kind of weird, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't want to make it unplayable. I don't even know if like I think maybe increasing the cost, but I don't even know how impactful that is. I guess like it delays it by one turn, and that's kind of big for aggro. But then it makes it worthless because it's only good versus aggro, in my opinion.
Yeah, like turn 5 would already kind of be dying, right?
Right. And like, what does it do against decks that let you go to 5 and beyond? Nothing much.
Yeah.
Maybe if you make it like 6 mana and it clears 3, that's kind of excessive though.
it's just like Wings of the Cryo things which never saw play. Gave the card a 7 out of 10.
True. But yeah, that's my first nerf. I don't have any specific way how to nerf it though.
Oh, right. I mean, that's fair, right?
How about reducing the healing lectures to 2 or something?
Yeah, but does that change anything? Like, of course, it's a bit of a nerf, right? But it just kind of feels like an unnecessary nerf, right? Like, you have 2 healing left, but ultimately you care about the wave clear, right?
Yeah. The way that you can just play that card and clear the board and then stop any further development is just crazy. Like, I don't know. It just stops so much.
One thing I saw on Twitter that I found interesting was you change the countdown to 2, but whenever it counts down, it deals 1 to everything. And they said like it was a nerf, but it kind of seems true. Right?
I mean, that's kind of weird. Like, one is just not enough, right? Like, it's the same as Ice Shard then. Ice Shard is actually just an unplayable card. It's kind of weird. Like, Ice Shard doesn't even look that bad, but like, if you ever try playing it in control, it's actually so bad.
Well,
like, you play it against aggro and you take damage, but you don't even, you literally don't get anything from it. You kill like a 1-drop and then you take 1 damage for it, so it's like, I don't think it would be good then.
So even if you do it twice, like if just 1 turn delayed then.
I don't know if Ice Shard is weak or if having 1 HP on a unit is just so much of a vulnerability that people don't do it anymore. But
I mean, maybe.
You know, it's like the
like it would still be good against stuff like old discard aggro or something, but yeah.
I mean, that's why old discard.
In general, Ice Shard is kind of bad. I mean, to be honest, Ice Shard was already bad when discard aggro was played, so
that's
maybe
true. It's never been great.
Even this deck is not helpful. Like, Ice Shard is just, and this is like 2 Ice Shards basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's better than Ice Shard, but like, it's not really impactful enough for such a slow card, I feel.
And that change also gets bricked by Tough completely.
But people were saying it shuts down aggro like more, but it's like over 2 turns and you can't develop it all anymore.
It's actually kind of bad.
I think it's
like, I think you would be forced to run Ice Shard along with it, so you have 2 damage to actually remove things, right? Because you play it on your turn, and then the enemy turn you can just open attack, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't think that's like really the change we need here.
Yeah.
It's also kind of weird, like what kind of ravine is this? Like there's like 2 ravines now, what?
It has
like, where's the second ravine coming from? It doesn't make sense from the flavor, right? Like there's 1 ravine, it comes and then it's gone, right? Like how's the second one then? It's like...
Okay.
What
Good,
about you
that's
guys?
the first nerf.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going next, and mine will be a little bit. It's 2 cards, but I think if we just nerf the top decks, that a stupid value engine will come back that I play a lot, but also think it's time to move on from it. And it's the Baboon engine. It literally carries my Chain Chase deck right now, and it's just like talking about the Boom Baboon and the Solid Urchin and stuff like that. And they just like generate value, get a few jump blockers, and it feels so bad to face Binding Light, for example, as a deck, as an aggro deck. You play your 2-drop, your the Boom Crew reduce 2 damage and it trades into your Boom Baboon, and then you
It blocks
play
your
another card.
release.
Yeah, it's literally. I think Boom Baboon is. I really underrated this card, but it's one of the best 2-drops in the game right now. It just gets you an extra card, blocks Fearsome, trades into Boom Crew Rookie. So I would change Boom Baboon and some Dredger to be more value cards, but not be like the literally strongest you can play on curve. Would make Boom Baboon a 2-1. Might be too weak, but I think it's still fine. And I would make some Dredger a 4-2. What do you think about that?
I think some Dredger doesn't need to nerf. I think even as a force field doesn't really feel that good to play. Like oftentimes you play it and it's like, yeah, you spend 3 mana on the force field, but it's like, it trades into a 2-drop and it doesn't push any damage because it doesn't have keywords and it doesn't really do that much.
Huh.
I don't think Dredger is really the nerf. Like Baboon, I agree, Baboon is Baboon is ridiculous, but a Dredger doesn't feel that good anymore.
Yeah, I mean, just like the problem is you have 3 halves, so you don't really die to Mystic Shot, and you never really get to block some Dredger if you have a good curve. You just go Boom Baboon into Chompers, Dredger, and you challenge away the 3-drop or something, and then you don't get to block him and just deals for damage. You can't even react to it because it has 3 half. That's my reasoning.
Yeah, but that's more carried. But that's one of the cards that's more carried by the Chompers than like actually by the card. Right? I don't think Dredger alone is like really that good.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs a nerf. Like if I play him in Cyan, for example, he kind of feels really bad to play. So like you play him, and then it's like he doesn't push any damage. He just gets blocked, and it's like whatever.
But it's also like a avalanche protection. Because like Aphelios and some Dredger just stand through avalanche, and so avalanche even feels bad into this deck. Like all the units got +1 anyways, and then you just try to clear them, and then half of them survive. It's just like that's what annoyed me about the deck.
That's a very interesting suggestion. I do agree that the Boom Baboon package, I mean just Boom Baboon, right, has made so many decks possible for discard, but I also feel like that's great and really necessary for Piltover and Zon. Like, the discard package is one of my favorite packages personally. So I think I'm like super biased, right? Like I used to play a lot of discard aggro. I used to play a lot of Scion. I played a lot of Rumble. Like, I enjoy that archetype a lot. I don't know what else the region has if we take that away from them. You know?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like,
my main point would be I want to change this deck to the old discard deck where you actually have to buff your units and stuff. Because like Winding Light is so annoying, just literally have the best card selection in the game with Sonnet Urchin and Sun Dredger just throwing into the deck all the time. You have no consistency issues because you just hit your cards all the time. Every card you have goes +1. It's just like this value stuff that annoys me. And I think you can still play a 2-1 Boom Baboon if you have like Vision or Draven and stuff, and actually use the units you have in the board, not just like say random value guy.
but I mean, like,
Yeah.
nerfing those 2 cards doesn't bring back discard aggro, right? It just weakens all of the discard package and all of the
I think it
discard
does bring
decks.
discard aggro. Because you like aggro feels bad because it loses to Winding Light. So it's my impression because you just if you go play a 2-drop and it deals 2 damage or buffs your board, and the other guy plays a 2-drop and draws a card, and obviously that feels bad and it's just making you lose.
Aggro loses to Winding Light.
Yeah, that's so.
Yeah.
Because as you said, the cards outvalue and they still trade with you, so it's And Baboon is definitely way too strong. I mean, you could also make it like a different nerf and make it like 3 mana, but then he's probably unplayable.
Worthless. Then you can't
So
play with 3
2-1 is probably playable.
2-1?
It's like kind of
sad.
But you think about it,
kind of
least,
sad,
yeah.
but
I know. But I mean, wouldn't we go to 2-2 first? Like Old Financier?
I mean 2-2 is okay. You could also make it the 2-2.
Because then you lose
I
the
mean,
fearsome blocker, but you gain a
that might
middle blocker.
actually be a buff for Winding Light though.
Yeah.
That's like
That's
important,
fair.
right?
That's fair. But I mean,
But Winding Light needs some more nerfs anyway. Like Aphelios is ridiculous, but we get to that later. I guess.
I just want to give the deck a clear weakness. I want Spider Aggro, Gwen Spider Aggro to be like, okay, let's just play value dudes. I get to fearsome attack them, like it was with Banjo City, with Loss of Ari. And elusives, just play value dudes, just fuse them, attack them, and push over. Still have Mountain Goat, I guess, but Mountain Goat is kind of a bad card. It's,
So I'm hearing you. Okay. Yeah. Well. I guess we'll get into the buffs later. But Smooth, what's your?
Okay.
You
My
mentioned that you
first
had a
nerf is obviously a Hextech Handler, because this card is absurdly overpowered. Like, I don't know why this card got winged. Like, honestly, like if you look at this card and Heimerdinger, why is there 3 drop that's a 3/2 with quick attack and has better effects than his own deck's champion's level 2 effect with like an easier condition? Like I don't see how that makes sense. And he even buffs himself. Like how absurd is this card actually?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Like look at Heimerdinger, such a sad guy, but this guy is like hard carrying him. Like Heimerdinger would actually be like back to like being one of the worst champions, but his support cards are so overpowered that he's actually just getting carried percent. I don't see how they actually printed this card. This is kind of fucking weird, man.
I mean, but it's only played in one deck, right? Is that okay?
Well, yeah, of course it's only in one deck. Like, where are you gonna play it? It's literally a turret card.
Right, but I mean, like, how
like,
impressive is turrets right now?
It is impressive.
It is very strong. Heimer Jace is like, honestly, from the card value in general, like from the power level of the cards in this deck, it's literally the strongest deck in the game.
Yeah.
Because it has so many cards that are actually just absurdly overpowered.
Yeah.
But it's
really
a
the issue with
removal
the
deck.
combo. No, it's not a removal deck. It's a mid-range deck that also has removal. Like it's literally.
Like it's literally a turret swarm, and the turrets are overstated and with like 5 keywords, because adapted one is also very balanced. Like adapted one should also be nerfed to.
I hate that card. Yeah, I agree. That card's crazy.
Because like you play it, and what am I gonna do? Like how am I ever removing him without spending way too much mana? Like even as a 1/2, I'm forced to like Mystic Shot or something, right? And even then I'm down trading. But now I'm forced to like, what am I gonna do, right? Am I gonna get excited this guy or what? Like, how do we remove him? Okay, if you have board wing, like this is like the only removal that's actually close enough, right?
And it takes 2 actions.
But the value of this 1 drop is way too high.
And I kind of agree that like most people are like, control is so bad because there are no aggro decks and combos all over the place. But why are there no aggro decks? Because Heimer Chase and Wilding Light are just like gatekeeping all of the aggro decks from existing, because it just goes super wide without any cost. Like one card generates 5 roots. I also hate Chase Heimer, but not as much because it has like a clear weakness. But still, this is why combo decks are forced to be tier 1, because otherwise Chase Heimer just kills everybody. So I would definitely get behind. How do you nerf them though?
Like Handler, I mean, like I said, I don't think this card should ever be printed because it's just an absurd card. But maybe you just make it more expensive, you know, like it could work.
Just take away the health.
I mean, it's still gonna have a better effect than Heimerdinger. Like what if we just deleted and buff Heimerdinger, you know?
Yeah.
Like I would be totally for that. Or you just make it a lot worse and makes the effect on Heimerdinger somehow.
Yeah,
because like, why is Heimerdinger so much worse? Like he levels and then the turrets he generates after leveling are +1/1. Like this is so much worse than all tech units are being buffed.
how about we swap
Like
those
what is
then?
his champion?
Like if you swap Heimerdinger being an everywhere buff, you level up, and then Hextech Turret is just like Hextech Handler is just like a one-time buff for the board.
I mean, then Hex again is this kind of unplayable, right? Like this, I mean, I don't like him being played, but he doesn't make sense to play anymore. So if he was the one-time buff, so it's like this card is just kind of, yeah, man. I don't see this card ever being fair, to be honest.
And I saw like one guy asking, how do I
So
play
maybe
Chase
just
Heimerdinger?
make it 4 mana. It's like, yeah, whatever, I guess.
And I
Just make it 4 mana, call it a day, and then he's like somewhat balanced. Maybe remove his quick attack, because like you play him on like turn 4, and he's a 4/3 with quick attack. Yeah, I mean, even without Pork, he's like a sweet to quick deck. He's not even that bad, right?
No, it's not. It's fine. Like, that's champion.
Yeah, it's literally Draven Statland. You're right here, and you can just attack with him.
Yeah, for free. Yeah, this card is kind of ridiculous. I hate to see this card come down.
I see one guy asking how do I play Chase Heimer in the bad matchups, and they were just like drop 2 extra handlers in a row on turn 3 and turn 4 and turn 5, and you just auto win, and it's kind of feels that way sometimes. You have 2 of these guys, you just auto win. Literally pack mentality
Yeah,
to all
the
your guys.
turrets are just gigantic then.
It's
And
disgusting.
like also removes the counterplay from the turrets, right? Like the turrets are intentionally 1 HP, so you can actually remove them. And like if you play 1, they're already too big, right?
And if you play 2, you just auto win against some decks. You just like play Avalanche and then already feels bad. They play 1 Production Surge, you have to Avalanche that, but then you just can't even Avalanche it. You have to like, I don't know, Ruination 1 Production Surge. It's just like why control decks don't really exist, in my opinion. And like combo decks, like the only thing like Chase Hammer loses to is like broken combo decks. And
Right. Yeah. Like sword fish and shit.
I fully get behind it. Okay, next nerfs, Vic.
Oh, okay. So my next nerf was Shurima Protection.
Okay.
So
Kind of already talked about that.
Hourglass. Yeah, exactly. You chimed in on those, and I was like, yeah, I agree. Fully like Hourglass, even like the Deny. I was trying to figure if we need to nerf the right of the summon, the draw champion one. Because I mean, like that right of calling, because that kind of feels like protection, right? It's just another way for you to have another copy of your cards that you want to keep safe.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I mean, I feel like Shurima right now just has so many ways to make sure that what they want to do happens, and I want to stop them from being so consistent. Like I think Hourglass really needs to go up to 3, like you mentioned, and the Deny needs to get bumped up. But I don't know. I guess like just those 2 things.
Yeah, but it's a bit hard, right? Like 5 mana white might just feel like super bad, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like for 4 mana it was long time, it wasn't even that good. Like often, depending on the meta, it's just the worst denial because they spent the mana on it.
It just
But
feels
then
like
again, right now it does feel like it could be 5 mana. Like if it's like bad, then you can just revert it later, I guess.
I find it
Oh,
annoying
no,
that you
it's
like
totally
have
fine.
both. You have like the perks of Freljord, just having the search champions and all the prediction and card draw and stuff, and you have Freljord, like you have Ionia and protections, it just feels like crammed together. The one thing I wanted to mention about Rite of Calling, if you change it like to 1 mana or something, it suddenly gets created by call creatures and stuff like that. And the one-drop pool in Shurima is actually not that bad. Like you have some bad cards like Concept of Isolation and stuff, but you have Shadestone, you have a bunch of good cards. You're just randomly creating a Rite of Calling would kind of feel bad, I think. Or good. Like, I don't know. Just turning into 2 is like too much. Just something to keep
I
in mind.
mean, I don't think we need to worry about that right now. Don't have Shurima Nami deck, that's not really that good, so it's probably fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Do you guys agree that Shurima Protection is a little too optimal at the moment?
Yeah, it's kind of strong right now.
I just
It keeps getting stronger somehow.
What other cards are even part of this problem? I'm trying to like search up Shuriman cards that I
mean, Hourglass and White, Quicksand to an extent. Too.
That's what I was thinking about as well. Quicksand. I feel like.
I mean, like it already got nerfed. It's like, I mean, it's kind of
Do I want to
okay
nerf
right
it
now.
more? Like.
I think Quicksand is okay right now.
Can you
Like at least it doesn't really help you if they just attack with their units. You don't reduce that much attack if you target 2 things. It's like just 1 attack. It's like really doesn't do that much.
Can you imagine the Twitter outcry if they're like, we want the Kaiser nerfed, and then it just like randomly nerf Quicksand? Like, okay, play your keywords, please.
Yeah. I guess. I'm looking through. I guess Supercharge is on that list, but I don't know how. Like, I think Supercharge is okay.
Yeah.
Like, whatever.
Yeah, I also think it's okay.
Maybe it's not okay as Kaiser's gem spell. Maybe that makes it too strong. Like maybe Kaiser needs a different gem spell,
I don't
like
think
it could work.
Void Seeker, the 1 damage thingy.
Oh my
I
god.
mean, honestly, we could do that.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
But,
Well,
like,
I
if you,
mean,
Like the
super-
card never got played, but you know, it will get played then. Something, man.
yeah, I guess like another part of the consistency, like you mentioned, Conansson, is the predict, right? Not only do you have certain tools, but you're able to time them and make sure that they're in your hand when you need them. And so I think that's part of the consistency that Shurima is able to make sure that they're always one step ahead of their opponents, right? Like I think Scrying Sense has been really strong lately.
what do you want to know of Scrying Sense?
I would not nerf Scrying Sense. I just
And
think that it's been
predicts don't need nerfs. Like
Yeah.
predicts are fine, but like
Mhm.
obviously the cards, if you can tutor them, they can be a bit weak. I
Yeah, yeah. That's I don't know. It's such a complicated region, and like I feel like it's been so problematic for as long as it's been in the game. Like people like talk about Bandle City being really bad, but like Shurima makes some really, really bad metas. The Shuriman Desert is indeed vast. I think we forget that sometimes. But yeah, I just want to nerf Shuriman protection.
I think Shurima is fine, but it's just misunderstood. It's like the mid-range combo region. You have like Ionia, this aggro combo, and then you have Shurima mid-range combo, and you have like first Shadow Eyes late game combos, which are like kind of bad. But if you see it as a mid-range combo region, then all of the predicts and protection and searching and stuff makes sense. But yeah, if you combine it with Ionia aggro and it just gets too fast, then it feels bad. If you just mono Shurima basically, and you have like a broken combo card, then it also feels bad. It's kind of the region identity. You can just like can't like delete Shurima protection. Maybe just delete it a little bit.
I guess that is like the whole. I guess that is just Shurima identity. I'm like rework Shurima, and that's not how it works. My bad.
Yeah, protecting champions is kind of the thing at this point, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it kind of makes sense for them, right? Like they worship them, and it's
Yeah.
like
I like it.
Yeah,
It just
thematically,
feels
of course, it
Yeah.
works. It's just like a little dominating for the past couple of years or years.
But I think we all agree here. Let's move on to the next one. Otherwise, we don't finish
Yes.
ever. Next
yeah,
card.
we kind of not.
Okay, next
So-
card is very simple. I just hate this card. I want Papercraft Dragon to go to 6 mana. I just hate
Yeah.
this card.
I mean, yeah, 6 mana is okay. Like it could also like have less health, but 6 mana is okay too.
Because I think if just nerf Kaiser,
Definitely
then
needs a nerf
Papercraft-
somehow.
If you nerf Kaiser, Papercraft comes back and like Papercraft action, and the next one is just really so boring to play against. It just
I mean, it's not a
lunatic.
bad guy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And it just like comes back over and over, and it just feels bad. You can't really kill it, and I don't like it. Just make it more expensive or something.
I agree.
Okay,
I think
Yeah, sure.
we all agree. Nice.
Smooth.
Move on.
Alright, my next one is Aphelios, because, like, come on, man, Aphelios is just broken. Like, I don't see why they even reverted him, man. He's obviously way too off. He's way too strong. Look, he generates infinite cards that are literally better than 2 mana cards. Like how does it make sense even? Like, why does he have a 2 mana deal 3 and like a 2 mana stun 2 rounds? Especially these two, like they're just way too strong for 2 mana.
Mhm.
And he's also a 3 mana 3/3. It's not like he had bad stats. And then he gets quick attack on level 2 even.
Yep.
Like his stats are way too good.
How could you nerf
Yeah.
him without killing him?
Yeah.
I mean, one thing, we definitely can go to 3-2 again. I don't even know why it's a 3-3. Like they made him a 3-2 earlier, right? And then they nerfed him again. And then he was a 3-2 and really bad. And then they buffed him to 3-3 and gave him also the other buff back, right? So I feel like he could at least be a 3-2. Like at very least.
I mean, it's just like Riot. If you ever watched LoL games, they just like nerf over and over, and then they like, it's not really the problem of everything. Just revert like this one thing, and then revert the one thing, and then it's just really overpowered. What do you think about making the moon weapons asymmetrical? Like make Calibrum and Gravitum cost 3, leave the other ones at 2.
I think that would be kind of awkward, to be honest. Especially because of the phasing thing. Then you phase it, and then you kind of have an awkward mana curve, right?
Then
Or like
can,
you play him
choice.
without Nightfall, and then you get the random weapon, and then you get the wrong one, and then you can't play it because we were just unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
That would like maybe be a buff to Selvarum and stuff. You would actually choose it sometimes because like I don't want to play 3 mana here. It's just to pick the 2 mana health buff. and learn my
Yeah,
figures
but
faster.
I don't really like that. I like them being all the same mana, to be honest.
So just make it like deal 2 and stun only one turn or something, but that also feels bad.
Yeah, I mean, if you make Aphelios weaker, maybe it's already enough. Like, if he's a 3-2 and he dies to more removal, like, if you place him and they can just Death Sand him and he dies, like, maybe it's
Avalanche.
fine already. If he still generates, like, a weapon, right? Like, it's still, like, not even that bad, but... The 3-3 is just too strong for him.
Would align with my Sun Pressure nerf, just suddenly everything Violent Light dies to Avalanche. And you have Valiant Ladder again.
I mean, you know, they always used to Avalanche, right?
Yeah, half of them.
Like, FDR or some shit, you know, already beats it hard, so... We don't really need to make it weaker to Avalanche right now. But, well, it would be, I guess.
Okay. Next nerf.
Is that me
It's
now?
yours.
Yeah.
I wanna. Is it me?
Yes, I think it's...
No, it's actually Conansson, right? Oh wait, did you have it? Oh wait, it was like something we already agreed. Oh yeah.
No,
Oh
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
Papercraft.
Conan's. No, it's.
Yeah, it was
okay.
Papercraft and we already agreed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's fine.
I want to nerf Sands of Time again.
Oh shit, that's my next one too.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
fuck Thralls, dude. Thralls is crazy.
I mean, yeah, Sense of Time is just broken.
It's just so strong. I think, you know, maybe bump it up to 7 just to get it off of turn 3. But
Yeah.
that card is crazy still, in my opinion. Okay, I'm glad you agree with me.
Yeah, it's just very, very strong. Like the problem is, or like the problem with Swartz in general, right? You got you're playing a board-based deck against it, right?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna picture you this. You want to play one. Let's say you play one Avalanche, so you have to open attack, right?
Mhm.
But you can't develop in the turn earlier because I could have Ravine and then you play it.
Exactly.
And then you can't develop in the turn earlier, but you can't develop in the turn you play it because of Avalanche. But then you open attack, but you can't open attack because then you lose the sense of time, so you have to
Yes.
develop, but then you lose the Avalanche,
God.
so you always lose this. It's literally impossible to
Yes.
win.
Oh my god, yes. They have the triple god
Yeah,
hand where it's like, okay, what are you gonna do? I have the exact answer for you. Like, and it's so BS, dude.
Yeah, it's like 3 cards having different counterplay but basically doing the same thing. It's just, you can't play one.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I hate Thralls so much.
I kind of agree. It was not my third card on the list, but I kind of agree. I see the problem. Like, it's used to be like with Valiant Shadow Ice decks where you would either play around Withering Veil or like Avalanche, but like one was clearly weaker. Like Veil was just like 1 damage and healing a little bit.
Yeah.
Sense of Time literally deals with 2/2s just as well as Avalanche does in the long term. Oh yeah, we could bet behind it. 7 mana
Yeah.
or something.
What was your
Okay,
your
my last
final
nerf.
answer? Yeah.
Okay, it's like a little bit of a package nerf here. I want to see Ilawe being a little bit destroyed because I hate Ilawe as a card, just a 1/6, you can't move it at all, you can't really trade into
Tentacles.
it. And I would just make Ilawe herself a 1/5, and maybe I saw a Tentacle Smash, just being a ridiculous card. It's kind of fine. If you want to nerf it, I would make it spawn 2, so you have to actually have a Tentacle ready if you want to really make its effect useful.
Mhm.
And the most controversial one, I hate Watchful Idol. And I would just make it 2 mana, but with Attune. And it kind of fits in with Alaris theme. He like has these Attune guys, and Beautiful has Attune. And maybe would fit in with Nami or something. But just making it like a slow card. Not just a 1-drop that generates 3 1/1s if you just play an aggro.
Yeah.
Just
it
make
is
this
very
whole
strong.
package. A little bit weaker. Not destroy it, but like just allow me to like 6 health is so much. I just can't deal with it.
Yeah, but I don't think. Wait, what was the first card? Something to spawn 2.
So,
I didn't really catch the name.
Ilawe, 1/5, Tentacle Smash. Tentacle Smash.
Oh,
spawn 2.
yeah, that's what I was worried. Tentacle Smash, I don't think you can make it 2. Because I think it would be unplayable then.
Yeah, I kind of
Like
agree.
right now it's too strong. Like it's very strong,
It's
but
very strong.
ultimately it's most of the time like in not Ilawi decks. It's just 4 mana D3, where like every region basically has that. Or well,
And it gives you
will have that, I guess.
a fearsome blocker though.
I get it, right? Like it's too strong, but
is
like
strong.
spawn 2 is just it would be
Awful.
literally a 4 mana Mystic Shot. Like it's actually unplayable if we don't have tentacles. Like maybe you intended to be unplayable without tentacles, but then is 4 mana not a bit too much, right? I guess
I mean,
feats.
Who
I
doesn't play
don't really
tentacles?
think you can make it. So.
Like if even like Bard Nami or something, or like Nami TF plays.
Yeah, but
5
sometimes you don't have
Naganos.
tentacles, so you have to play this to get the tentacle or something, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I think
then
this
it's
is the
like-
most questionable one, but just give me Alawi and like watch Idle.
I think-
slow.
I think allowing.
Yeah, Watchful Idol is way too strong.
Yeah, I think I agree. I like the idea of giving it a tune, but I think that's a little scary.
Why will it be scary?
I don't know. Spell mana is scary to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird, yeah. Like, I'm not sure. 2 mana, it's very slow then.
Yeah.
Maybe it's okay, but.
What are you doing on 1 now? Just bird?
I mean, yeah, you can do that. Like, you usually do that when you don't have Idol anyway, right?
But like you can still
Right.
have
You
the
just
craft with
have
the
2
answered
mana,
prayers. Like you can still go Watchful Idle into answered prayers in turn 2 then. If you want banked spell mana, but you just don't have like the. I just wanted to keep the craft intact, but. It should make it a choice. And I just hate going into Bad Alawi and just drop a 1-drop and I'm just like already losing.
Yeah.
Just so overtuned. Okay.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's like the nerfs. Let's go to our buffs. I hope we have like fun buffs here. So who's next? I guess Smooth. What to do buff?
Okay, I guess I can find. I mean, first I gotta get the shout out to Smooth Swoleoist. That's very important. Like, she kind of deserves the nerf. Kind of deserves the buff. The problem is, I don't think she really can get a buff, which is kind of a shame. But I don't think the game or me even want her to be buffed, because I feel like she has like a good potential to just be toxic. So yeah, I guess he kind of has to stay bad or get like reworked or something. But yeah, I don't think we can really buff her. So yeah, let's maybe
Okay.
buff a different card.
Okay. Yeah, that was out of left field. I would have. Like, okay, you're just bringing it up because, like, your namesake, right?
Yes, obviously I had
okay.
to bring it up. You know, like I had to say that she kind of deserves a buff, right?
Yeah.
But actually buffing her is kind of impossible right now.
So, for those of you who don't know what Smooth
I mean, it's literally
Solo
on the
is,
screen. Vic, it's
I
literally on
know,
the
but
screen.
I know,
Yes.
but it's an audio based. You know, it's a
Okay.
podcast, right? We're supposed to be
Sure.
on Spotify, so
Yeah.
it's a 7-mana Bilgewater card. Smooth Soloist, elusive, plunder. Reduce the cost of allies in your hand and deck by 2. It's a 3/4. That card
Okay.
is scary if it's strong.
I mean, just look at Urge,
Yes.
and it's like the most broken card over there. If you ever get this.
I mean, yeah, okay. But then again, I think it has more problems than this card. Like,
But-
at least you have to block plunder for it. Like, Zeri is just completely broken.
I think it's this card is
Man.
stronger than Zeri. Like, you can at least kill Zeri.
It's crazy because both of
Or
these
Zevi.
cards, like Zevi,
Yeah. So
Yeah, it's heavy actually.
another garbage card though, right?
it's a 6-mana PNC. When you draw a card, you're fleeting and create an extra copy of it in hand. 5/6. Done. Yes. So, pretty broken card. But I think you can at least kill her, and then it's fine. But we've
I
talked
mean,
about Urge.
yeah, okay.
But Smooth Solo.
Well,
is just-
anyway,
Anyways.
back to buffs, I guess. Like, let me say an actual buff maybe.
Why
Okay.
don't
got,
your
like-
other namesake cards Swole Scroll? Why don't you buff that?
Nah, this one doesn't need to buff. It's swole enough right now. The other one is Jermedada. You might remember
Jermedada.
Wyatt once buffed him, but it was actually nerfed. And now since then he's actually unplayable. Like, he was already unplayable before, okay?
He
Like,
was.
I'm not gonna say they made him worse, but they kinda did make him worse. Like, before he had elusive, right? And now he's just a 6-mana 5/5. There's literally no reason why an enemy would even spend cards on him. So you never get to draw cards. Unless you buff him, but how are you gonna do that in Bean's right?
So what was the old version? Like, I don't remember.
He was an 8-mana. I'm not sure what that
He was
stats.
elusive.
Was he like a 6/6?
He was.
He did have elusive at least. I'm not sure if he was a 6/6 though. Like, he did have different stats, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure right
I
now.
think he was an 8
But
mana
he was
6/6
elusive.
elusive when
And he-
untargeted.
He desperately needs this elusive, right? Because right now
Yes.
there's no reason why you would ever target him.
Or
Because,
give at least
like, he
quick
doesn't know
attack.
anything. Like, why is he 5/5 with literally no keywords? Like,
He's
so bad.
swinging. He's swinging. He's fast. He should have quick
And
attack.
like, if you play him and the enemy is removing him with something relatively efficient, right? Like, you draw one card, but you spend 6 mana on drawing one card. Like, as long as the enemy's not triple Mystic Shotting him, he's literally never gonna be valuable. And he doesn't threaten anything anyway, so he's just getting blocked, and yeah. He's completely unplayable.
Maybe
like, you could really have a keyword. Any keyword, you know? If he has a fearsome, you know, he'd be better than now. But he should probably just have elusive back. Like, make him a 4-4, give him elusive, and he's playable.
Yeah, 4-4, yeah. Well, is he?
But he's probably not playable. But
He's not,
he's better
right?
than now, okay? Right now he's just unplayable. Like, come on, man. Like, right now he's just super bad.
Even with elusive, he's still worse than Poro Cannon.
I mean, of course.
Oh wait,
But
why
he's
didn't we mention nerfing Poro Cannon? Never mind.
It's fine. It's too late. How about making it 5 mana? That was my suggestion for the chamber.
Yeah, but he's still gonna be a 5-5 that doesn't do anything.
Just
Right?
the
I mean, he's
vanilla
obviously better. But I think he needs a keyword.
He needs
but
a
then you can
reason
take-
for your opponent to remove it.
Yes. I think he needs elusive back. Like, he had elusive at the beginning, and it was okay. I mean, it wasn't playable, but he was better than now, honestly. Like, I would rather play an 8 mana 6-6 elusive with this effect than a 6 mana 5-5.
But like the whole targeting package in PNC is like elusive. You have like the new guy, the whatever 3 mana elusive draw card. You have Sunworks map. You have the 4 mana 4 that gives you Sunworks map. He already has elusive. Like, just doesn't make sense.
Then give him fearsome. You give him fearsome, right?
No, just give him elusive. I don't want to play Soundworks map to make my 6 swap useful, you know?
But then you get a draw. You play Sunworks map
But
on
it's
him,
an
and then he
eight
draws
mana.
you a card, dude.
Nah, I'm not gonna play 8 mana
Shall
for
we?
one draw. I want him to be useful just if I play him, honestly.
Yeah, he needs something.
Fearsome doesn't make sense. Look at his face. He's not fearsome.
Yes, fearsome doesn't make sense. Elusive is like okay, I guess, because he's like
Just there.
okay, it doesn't really make sense either because he's kind of flashy, but you know,
Like, he's a
he had
thief
it
at
before. It can't be that bad.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, do you just want to say your third one as well? Or you just die with 2? Or
I mean, okay, sure, might as well. The third one is like a pile, I guess. You know, it's like these old forgotten cards that will literally always be bad. Like, I mean, it's not even that they're forgotten; they were literally bad in beta already. Like, they've been bad for 2 years. Like, one is like the Enlightened package, right? Like Emerald Awakener, My Man Feral Mystic. Like, these cards are just common. They're like completely unplayable. Like, they could have like maybe like 2 mana 2/3 Feral Mystic and like. Yeah, the same buff for Emerald Awakener, so that they're like somewhat playable before Enlightened.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you got Ritual of Renewal, that's like also a card of the package somehow. And it's like, yeah, come on man, this card's so bad. Imagine being 7 mana and heal 7 and it's slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was one card, it's like, come on man. Like, this card is bad. And there's like a lot of these cards that are like back in beta they were already terrible, but they never even got tried to buff a single time. Like, and we got a lot of examples. Like, you can count them real quick. We don't really need to argue about them because obviously they're bad. Like Savage Reckoner, for example. Like come on, man. Come on, he's just fucking bad. Then we
Do you
got like,
think-
what is the Yusawi? Like, what is this guy, man?
Do you think that Enlightenment being like a meta strategy would be good for the game as a whole? Like just sitting around to 10 mana and then just
I don't
winning,
know.
basically. So this is like just like Kaiser, but like 5 times later.
I mean, yeah, kind of makes sense, right? Like they're also the set buffs, but also they work in a different ways than the other Enlightened card. Like Karma just OTKs you, so it doesn't make sense. What are you gonna use the stats for, right?
But yeah,
But I'm like a big fan of these feel-good buffs, you know? Like, I don't like these cards being just bad for no reason, right? Like, I like it if the cards are like a bit better. They feel a bit better to play than completely unplayable. Even if they're still unplayable competitively, right? I think it's okay to buff cards to make them okay.
Yeah.
To like not make them super fucking insanely feel bad to play, right?
We've talked about that. The free buffs, like giving Vladimir fearsome, just free buffs that will see other people play them and bring joy to those people who enjoy those archetypes. Okay, I think we could go on. I think that's like a concept that we could even discuss. Like, there's infinitesimal amount of cards that could get free buffs. You know what I mean? That would like someone posted on Twitter. They're like, "Do you guys even know what Freed Colossus does?" Like, you know, like that card has been
Yes,
played
of
7
course.
times this patch. Like that, you could do anything to that card, and it would be fine. No, I
mean,
like
it's
that
like a
concept a lot.
super goat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
super goat for sure.
It's cool. I played it a bunch. Even played it like last like against ABG Bane.
Hello.
He's definitely better than Savage working it.
So you had to literally to build a deck. No, it's not in Spain. It's in the drafted challenge. Different game mode. Anyways, I agree. The free buffs are definitely a concept, but we should wait until if we find more free buffs in our 2 buff successions. Because definitely some more. Do you want to go on, Vic, or?
Yeah, sure. I'll just throw out all my my buffs. So I just want like a lot of aggro buffs essentially. I want to return SI aggro with Escaped Abomination back a little bit, bring that up to modern standards. I feel like the whole SI aggro package has been so weak. Like, when was the last time you saw a Bark Beast, right? I think like Bark Beast deserves to get buffed.
I mean, Dark Beast is kind of okay, I feel. It's
Really?
not even that bad.
Yeah.
Give it fearsome.
I mean, okay, that means that would be fine, I guess. I mean, okay, maybe it would be just one. Like, I agree with, like,
give it fearsome once it levels up.
Being Abomination is, like, super bad for Fortune. It's, like, really bad.
It's garbage.
I'm not sure about Bark Beast, to be honest. Because, like, it's 1 mana 3/3 with, like, the region's condition. I mean, maybe it could be, like, a 1/2 and it gets 1/2/1. Like, maybe that's better.
Okay, I could see that. You're just giving it a little more survivability.
But I don't think it can be better than a 1 mana 3/3 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just think like that whole region right now is so bad. Like, SI is so weak right now. The Gwen package is actually probably in need of some buffs based on the how it's been performing.
Isn't
I
it, like,
wouldn't mind
okay?
that. I mean,
I mean, the Grand package is fine, but the rest of the regions, guys, I guess the rest of the regions is not good enough, to be honest. Because, like, I feel like Load and the keyword is kind of good. The units are, like, honestly, they're pretty good, right? Like, the 1 drop is kind of cracked. The 2 drop is pretty good. It's probably just that the rest of the size is not good enough. As you said, like, Bark Beast and the Abomination. It's probably better to buff these, yeah.
yeah. But, and then I also kind of want to get aggro out of Decimate, but I don't really know how to do that. That's such a complicated task, in my opinion, but it's so boring right now just to have to be like, oh, I want to be an aggro gamer. I guess I'm just only playing Decimate decks.
Yeah, it's always Noxus. Like, Noxus is just taking out the aggro.
Yeah.
There's literally no other region to actually play there.
That's why I really enjoyed the burn decks that you had made a couple months ago that were all PZ. Like, I think it was 9 cast salesmen.
Yeah,
I think
like Get Excited, Mystic Shot. I mean, Fiend Z has a lot of good burn spells.
Of
the
course.
unit set is not that good there.
Right.
Except for Castman, you know, he's kind of broken.
He's sick. I'm gonna play 9x cast salesman at Mystic Shot today.
Nice.
Oh shit, let's go.
Yeah.
I
have a crazy idea for a buff. How about we make Aftershock go face? Wouldn't that be crazy?
Oh, dude! You know what? That would be so sick. Could you imagine if they made it so Aftershock could go face? Wow, a 4 mana 3 damage to face? Wow, that would be so sick. Right.
It actually hurts burn deck so much that we don't have Aftershock anymore. Like, we literally just miss 3 damage because there's no replacement for it.
Crazy.
Oh, it's so painful. I forgot.
Yeah.
But just make like a custom card.
It's gonna be rough.
Just make like a custom card. It's like worse Aftershock. And it's just like 4 mana. And it doesn't destroy land or something. It just goes face. Literally just print that.
That'd be sick. Right. Hopefully, Riot comes out with some super cool new burn cards in the future.
Yeah.
That'd be neat. Yeah. So, I want like Imperial Demolitionist to get reverted. I don't think that Anijin
Yes.
was as scary as they thought it was gonna be. So I think that those two nerfs that happened on the Imperialist and the Corsair. You know what? Honestly, Corsair could probably stay at 1-1 with all the monkey shenanigans that are going on right now. I don't think I want to see it at a 1-2.
Yeah,
I
it's
think-
probably okay.
I think Bilgewater is kind of strong right now, and I want Cast Salesman to be a 3-3.
But yeah, Demolitionist, I guess it can be a 2-3 again.
I think that's it.
The problem is
Mm.
like, I feel like, buffing Echo is cool and all. Well, Noxus Echo, in the general, it can be buffed, I guess. But then I want a bit of a power shift in any gym, because right now, they have like a few cards that are just so much stronger than the rest of the deck. Like, if you
Right.
draw them, you just win.
Stagehand.
Yes, exactly what I mean with this. Stagehand is just so absurdly strong
Yeah.
that it's just, if you draw 3 of them, you just kind of win.
I
So, like, if you buff other cards, you should nerf this card, to be honest.
That's Ionia, right?
Well, yeah,
But I guess
in
it's
the same
only
deck.
played. Is that card played outside of any gym?
Oh, it was sometimes played in some. It was
The-
like an Eric Cannon force.
The Hecarim Copium decks, right?
And Zeralia just played the two of the versions I saw back then.
Yeah,
Domination.
sometimes. It's kind of broken, but it is a bit awkward to play.
Oh, I guess it's not in some Yasuo decks, but Yasuo is not a real champion anymore.
It is, to be
No.
honest.
So,
It has
I
a
mean,
place
I
in meta.
recently molded about the fact that Yasuo is literally only playable because Mont is so broken that it's actually the scariest thing.
the
And
more-
Like,
it
they
look-
literally tweeted that a bit ago. Only reason Yasuo decks are playable right now is because I want 3 the Mont and this card is busted. Like, literally, like, that's why I lose to this deck, right? Like, I literally just get swarmed with the losers for some reason.
maybe I bring a 9x the Morn deck then.
Okay.
I really like playing stupid 9x lineups. They're so funny. But yeah, okay. How
Yeah,
about
that's
you, Conansson? What would you buff? You
I just wanted to say I'd like the general approach, like doing more aggro stuff, but it's just kind of like I can get behind that, but it's kind of boring. It's not gonna lie. It's making weird all the changes. I have some spicy stuff here, so
Thank you. Give me your spice, Conansson.
So, Vic, do you know my favorite card in the game?
Your favorite card in the game? Oh my god. I feel like I should. Oh man.
Smooth might know it, but
Oh, I'm not sure anymore. Like, I know you probably told me that, but
Oh my
I'm
god.
not
Yes,
quite
I
sure
know that
right
he's
now.
told me.
so what's my American name? You know that American account.
Oh my god.
Targon
Targon
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a Targon card.
is it the Fangs?
No.
No, it's.
I mean, that one deserves a buff, but
Yes.
okay,
But,
then it's
okay.
not that one.
What's the worst
Okay,
Targon
what's-
card you can think of?
The worst?
Yes.
It's probably the Fangs, honestly.
No.
Don't
No
put the
way. The Fangs is not the worst card. It's like Scholarly Climber.
No,
Nah, this card's kind of good.
it's also playable, yes. Okay, I'll just say it. It's Destiny's Call. Vic, what does it do? Don't look it up.
Oh my god. I already looked it up, I'm sorry.
It's 8 mana, burst, give a unit in hand,
Yeah.
8/8.
But I do know
Granted.
it's-
Not even that bad, right?
it's a garbage card.
I mean, yeah, of course, but it's one of these meme cards, right? I feel like it's allowed to be not that good.
Yeah.
Dude, oh,
It's not
you just
really a
play
card
with
that
claws.
makes sense to be good, right?
It's like a free buff. I just want to play my 12 mana attach combo with like Destiny's Call. Have fun with it.
Yeah, but maybe it's actually good then, right?
Yeah,
If
like
you don't really want this card to be good, I feel like it's kind of weird.
it's like Smooth Swoleoist. It was like broken when we had like this no cards under 3 costs tournament on Erlor once and just destroyed everybody. It just like bank mana and just have Destiny's Call you attach and there's no account to play. It was kind of fun. I like Destiny's Call. You have to like overwhelm or make it like 6 costs +6/+6 or something. It would make me happy. It would honestly be a free buff. Like, do you think it would be played if we have overwhelm or something?
Oh,
I mean, it would be
God.
worth to give Overwhelm, I feel. But I'm not sure if it would be played, you know?
It's 8 mana.
I mean, Pharaohs could generate it, but
Make it 6.
Yeah, that's what I said. 6 mana, 6/6.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, 6 mana, 6/6 is okay. Yeah.
I don't even know if that's good though. Like, what it really.
I mean, with attach, it could actually be broken with attach because like attach units keeping this permanently. And then you have,
that's
like,
true.
It's the infinite stated unit.
Just put it onto a
I mean,
rainbow fish.
you know,
Just put it on a paper craft, I guess.
and you
It's
make
gross.
it turn 3, and then you play turn 4 with the fish. Like, obviously, it's kind of greedy, and maybe it's not so good, but
You just bank the first 3 turns, and then you just.
I'm not sure if 6 mana is like, if it's a really good idea, you know.
I
Like,
just
buffs
the
can
card.
go up in the high a lot. Like, if they're super expensive, they can buff a lot. But for 6 mana, I don't think you can give 6/6 for 6 mana. Like, you can give 8 for 8 mana, because 8 mana is so much that it doesn't matter anymore. But
Alright.
6/6 for 6 mana is too much, I think.
What if we make it 8 mana plus 6/6 focus speed, grant an ally or grant a unit in hand and summon?
I mean, that would need a condition. Or like,
like-
cheap cost or something. You can't just use it on like an
It's
ace
8
or something.
unit. It's 8. Okay,
Just turn
follower
5.
only. Follower only.
Still, it's broken.
I mean,
Just
even
summon
then
goddess
it's
or
broken.
something.
Like, you just do it on Atacon on like the...
Oh, that's
6,
true. No,
and
wait.
then you just
never
win the
mind.
game.
Never mind. That's stupid. I'm
not
sorry.
even Atacon. Like, some units that actually
Yeah.
just something on summon or
This
whatever,
card
like.
just feels like it's so bad and it's impossible to make good.
It's a fun card.
Without-
Anyways, next change we can. It's like fine. Next change is not really a change, but like I just want this bug to not be fixed. Basically, there's a Shen quote unquote bug right now where if you play Key Guardian and give you in hand barrier, then you get like the Shen trigger on the board,
a prop.
and then Kinko Student also. And that
Gets
like
propped.
doesn't it like yeah, and it's also like triggers twice I think because it gets in hand and when it summoned gets the barrier. You can
I
remove the
think
trigger
that's-
twice, but yes,
Yeah,
like that's,
yes.
that's we can remove. But it feels so fucking good. I play so much Shen you can't even imagine, and it just feels so good to have like a combat trick now in the game and just like Key Guardian in the hand, and literally Key Guardian never made sense. Why does it
Yeah.
give it to hand? Like, and now it suddenly makes sense, and then they're just going to bug fix it and seeing it coming. It's just like don't bug fix it or change the wording or something. Just make Key Guardian a real card. It's just so much fun to play. That's my only hope for Shen.
What other in-hand target buffs do we have?
No,
Like targeting. That's the only one, right?
like
I mean, Destiny Score, but yeah.
Ha! Oh my god.
yeah,
You
like
just
not
mentioned
stats,
two.
like the keywords. But yeah,
No. Just like anything that can target a unit in hand.
it's like
Because I'm thinking about
infinite stuff.
Auction, right?
There's like Mobilize and
That's a target.
Well, Mobilize
like
doesn't
the hand
target.
plus synergy card.
They don't
I mean,
target.
okay, they don't target.
Oh,
so
you
we
have
got like
Inspiring.
yeah, Inspiring Mentor.
Yeah.
I mean, Octopus in a way, like Pranks. They technically target the unit in hand,
Wait, which one?
or like a card. Pranks.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
they
I
don't
mean,
buff
yeah,
them, but
I
they do
guess.
target them.
But yeah, but you don't. You're not targeting your own.
Yeah.
But I think I agree that the way that Shen and Student should work should be like when I behold a unit gaining shield, just because like the way it does work in hand. But I don't like when you summon that
Yeah.
same barrier gets double seen. I think that's not.
Yeah, I
That's
can
the
agree
line.
with that. But like
Yeah.
Key Guardian was the most useless card ever, and it's just so fun to use finally.
I mean, it's not even that useless, right? Like, it's kind of a barrier.
yeah, but
and-
do you ever play it? Like it's so bad you can't even play it if you don't have unit in hand. Like you just literally
Okay, it's not that good, right? I mean, you could at least play it when there's no units. I feel like this should be okay, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay.
because my feeling is just
I
like
agree.
they're going to bug fix
Consensus.
it, and it's just Shen falls out of the meta again, and I'll be sad. But yeah, this would be
I have
tough.
a. What other buffs do you have?
Okay, my last buff is like really spicy, but
Okay.
okay, so the most spiciest buff to an Ionia card you will never expect. Literally it was like, I want to buff Targon Speak, but then I was like, no, that's a useful buff. Shadow Fiend, 1 mana, 4/3 ephemeral, make it a 5/3 ephemeral, and
Oh.
change Ren Shadow Blade to also be a 5/3. Like the
Oh.
4 mana guy. And you can literally make LeBlanc elusives, like a real deck just with one change.
Yeah.
LeBlanc makes ephemerals, and then you can just pair it with Ione and
That's really
have
funny.
ephemeral fun. It just look
Yeah.
like nobody will still play Shadow Fiend. Maybe they're in an all in aggro deck. Just hit them for 5.
I mean, when is like maybe playable then. Like 4 mana, 5/3 quick attack's not even that bad.
Yeah.
He's not even that bad yet, but
You know,
yeah, it's probably okay. We can do that. It's like there's no problem with that.
I almost picked Ren Shadowblade as the card that I wanted to buff, but I wanted to make it on strike and summon. But I don't know.
What?
I wanted it to also be
You
support
wanted to be
for
Draven.
yeah.
He's Ionian Draven then.
Yeah.
It's
don't
like the general Shadow Fiends.
Isn't like summon terrible? Like just summon an ephemeral and it just dies because you're already attacked.
Oh yes,
No.
summon is terrible.
Strike and summon. So when you summon him, you
Yes.
get one.
Okay.
So like Draven, you know, like the
Yeah.
same wording, I guess.
Okay. Could get behind
Yeah.
that.
Then you get like an infinite Shadow Fiend summon. It's like
Yeah.
guaranteed value then.
You can like fun with like fun Noxus or like cards like the training pits. You just run Shadow Blade and you like have your Shadow Fiend attack and then you can rally again and stuff.
That's true.
It's like funny. They're like funny buffs.
Would you
Yeah,
reduce his
honestly,
health at
that's
all?
fine.
No, it would be worse
You
if you
keep-
dropped that.
Nah.
4 mana 5/3.
Look at Sivir, literally give him station.
Nah, I
it's fine.
think he would be fine. Like Shadow Fiend, I guess it could be a 5/2 then, but like I don't think it really makes a difference.
No, it doesn't matter if it's a 5/2, right? It's a ephemeral.
Yeah, but
missing
like you
shot.
could do that just so it's not super overstated, but like
Sure.
it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I think those are funny changes.
Yeah. I guess Shadow Fiend couldn't feel bad if you don't do a 1-drop and just get hit for 5 turn 1, but I guess
Cool.
it's an old deck.
I mean that's fine. man. Like it's an ephemeral.
I love that actually. Let's go. You're at 15. Jesus. 1
Yeah.
mana decimate +1.
What a great
I love it.
discussion. I really enjoy this right now. Like
Well-
discussing with people who know about it and don't just like flame the game for like,
Yeah.
should-
I wanted to bring something up because you had mentioned the Shen bugs. And so, we're talking about patch wish lists. And I think it's important to mention bug fixes that will actually impact the game. There are a few bugs floating around, like the Husk filling the board bug that doesn't activate play effects from units.
Yeah.
You have the Shen barrier buff. You also have the Pandemonium with the hidden plunder buff bug that people are saying. Are there any other bugs that you guys can think about? There
there's
has
quite
to
a
be.
lot of bugs. Like
I mean I know bugs that's literally been in the game for 2 years.
uh,
And it's like really absurd. It's like such a word bugs that they probably just never bothered to fix it because it's like super niche and it literally never happens. But like it bothered me for a long time.
we have like one example.
It's like I can tell you about. Like it's when you play the Watcher with timelines and transform it into like anything, a 0 mana unit, then it obviously still costs 0 mana, right? But then it consumes your entire unit mana. So you like you transform it into a caustic cask and you just lose 10 mana from it. It's like it's so fucking mad. And then yeah,
What?
I actually lost some games to this back in the day when I played Timeline CC. Like it's a really absurd bug. I don't even know why it happens because like maybe you play the card and then it like resets the cost somehow, and then you play the mana for some reason. It's really weird, and then you just lose all your unit mana.
Wow.
But yeah,
All right.
My
been
bug of
there
the
for a
week
long
would be
time.
like Harrowing being super weird with like mist waves and stuff like that. Just makes no sense what kind of unit it summons at all. Like if you have like
and sometimes it breaks. The game just breaks.
literally, but if you have like a mist that's dead and a mist wave that's dead and a legend desert that's dead, it's just literally random which was like get summoned. I guess I had like tested it like 5 times and had like people watched it with me and they were like, "What? Why is this summoned? Why is this summoned?" It's literally random. And it's
Yes,
so
everywhere things are kind of weird sometimes. Like what actually gets summoned and what not is like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense sometimes.
But yeah, there's a lot of hidden bugs, but not no game breaking ones. one thing I want to mention is like people hating on other people for being bug abusers. Like
Yeah.
just
I've
because
seen
you
that a
sit on
lot
Twitter
lately.
all day and know about every single bug,
Yes.
because doesn't mean like everybody else knows every single bug, and like it's so annoying because I just played Kaiser and then everybody was like, you're just winning because you're bug abusing, you play Sharpside, why do you ever play Sharpside in the deck? And then I switched to Shen,
Yeah.
and then people were like, you're bug abusing, why will you play Shen, which like counts in the hand, and it's just so annoying. Like, it's in the game, like it's not, I'm not like hacking your game or something, it's like making you crash or something,
Yeah.
it's just like,
And it's not like crazy bugs, like
uh,
it's like literally a card you would play in the deck anyway, and like you can't blame me for using the card, right? It's not
Yeah.
like I'm abusing the bug, I'm just literally playing the card in my deck, you know.
so it's so crazy, I talk to some people that. Anyways, this was really fun and non-toxic. It's really was really enjoyable. And yeah, I think we can wrap it up. Any last words?
No, I think I'm done for now.
Okay.
Okay. Smooth. Any shoutouts?
Yeah, smooth shoutouts. Like you have a Twitch, right? Don't have YouTube.
Oh yeah, I stream sometimes. I'm very inconsistent. Like my Twitch account's just called Smooth Swoleoist, just like my name, I guess.
There will
I'm
be a
very
link, of course.
inconsistent, as I said, but you know, it's obviously very based over the time. They're always in there, then you can feel better about yourself than when you see a good player make bad plays.
You can even force Smooth to play bad decks, like or good decks like Chase Shen. It was funny. Just literally flamed the whole game. How bad this deck is.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Sometimes I gotta do that. It's very important to teach the people that sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah. That's fine. I'm still going to beat ABG with it. So good. Shout out to TKG as well as ABG.
Yes.
And
Shout out to
Yes.
TKG. It's always P Gaming, right? That's what you guys are called this week.
Yes. Obviously, it will only be for 1 week, right? Then
Right.
we get another funny name because
We're-
obviously we're gonna lose again.
We're trying to get the EMEA guys up for the scrims.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
maybe
right
you
now,
can- maybe
obviously
you can
I'm
dunk
busy
on
right
Conansson.
now.
But like, it's so hard because in both
yeah,
teams,
sure.
I can't just play for any team. It feels bad for the other
Ah,
team.
it's fine.
You just
Just
sub,
play on
you just
both
play
sides.
both.
You play both sides and lose for one of them. Both at the time.
You just play against yourself. You
Yes,
just make
but-
it all.
I have already
I mean, yeah, you can do
cards
that.
in my just play with myself. I can do that. Anyways, you can like call my Smurf ABG and my real account TKG or the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. But
That's a good plan.
yeah,
Anyways.
shout out to both of those organizations, and also, of course, shout out to RIWAN, the
Mhm.
poetry server.
Now featured on Reddit. You find the link of all of this stuff in the description as usual. Thank you so much for listening. If you're still here, don't fall asleep yet. And yeah, I hope you have a nice day or evening or also last week of the patch before it hits. Looking forward to be talking about the patch next week. And yeah, see you then.
All right, bye.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.